of week 3 for room number 1, and from my perspective this is where the fun really starts. So I'm going to be popping in beautiful new cornice and gorgeous ceiling roses. We're going to be getting all those walls patched by our plasterer because they are a disgrace. And I've also had to do things like making sure that all my products are here. There has been some hold up with shipping with an international health crisis, but so far I'm this week looking to choose my paints. I'm going to order my wallpaper. All of our amazing trims and timbers have arrived from Intrim. So one of the ways that I'm wanting to, you know, recreate the beautiful traditional feel that this house would have had is with trims. So amazing skirts will be going on there, and then a beautiful chair rail as well as a picture rail and some gorgeous detailed paneling along the bottom. So when you walk in the front of the house, you're going to be hugged by gorgeous charm. So this week I have to order my wallpaper, I have to get my paint samples and make sure that I'm happy with them. The room has been prepped for the plasterers, and one of the only things we're waiting to see how it goes with plastering. I'm not really wanting to pull down the existing cornice that's up there. It's just a boring 90mm cornice. But when you're pulling things down, you risk screwing up anything that it's touching. So I risk screwing up, you know, the rest of the walls and the ceiling by pulling that down. So I've chosen a cornice, not for this reason, but it did help, that extends further across onto the ceiling and further down the wall than the existing one. So I might actually just be able to get that lifted onto the wall as is. So if I'm dead honest with you, the only thing that's going to hold us up this week might be the weather if it's not dry enough for the plaster to dry in time, and it might be suppliers. So not my trades are on fire, but there is some supply issues happening in the building industry at the moment, so they might be my only sticking points this week. Fingers crossed. We might be keeping the gyprock in this first room, but boy, oh boy, there is some serious patching to do. And I don't mean tiny holes, I mean gaping holes. Some were able to be filled and others needed patches of plaster inserted to be able to then really get a good grab on the big gaps. Plastering is such an art, something I've actually never ever tried, and I don't intend to start now. So I have the team from Hunter Lining Projects, and they are going to be doing all of my plastering throughout this entire project. This house has been completely stripped of any of the original charm that it had. So one of the ways that I'm wanting to bring this back in is with beautiful timber trim work. So I'm using real timber for this. So it's real timber, skirts, chair rails, panel rails, and beautiful picture rails. I don't even know where to start with why I love these so much. So for me, the range that I was able to select from Intrim was huge. And what these trims do for a room, it's just outstanding. So for me, it layers in character. It gives a real sense of quality. And I think that comes from the timber. It gives you the ability to completely personalize a space, making it absolutely spectacular. And as you know, I am a lover of all things that are sustainable, that are recycled, and that are good for our planet. So the fact that these pine products are FSC certified makes it an absolute winner. I'm sure there are some gold standard heights that you're meant to put your chair rails and your picture rails, but for me, part of it is also about the other elements in the room. So you need to consider your door heights, your window heights if you have any, and your overall ceiling heights, and how the placement of your chair rails and picture rails might impact on proportion, scale, and size. So in this case, I have popped my chair rail in at 900 from floor, and I have popped in my picture rail from 2700mm from floor. Oh, that looks good, hey! Hey, Reese. Oh my gosh. That totally takes it next level, hey? Happy dance. Regan, you're quiet about it. Do you like it?
It's just work.
It's just work.
Do it all the time.
Oh.
It's hard to get too excited about it.
I just think, I don't know, I think that totally takes it next level. It's like putting jewellery on. He's out. He doesn't care about the jewellery. Don't you think?
It's great.
It's kind of like putting jewellery on.
That's good.
And it's practical, so we'll never have holes in these walls now because we have picture rails. So practical and pretty. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The cornices are on site and being installed by the team. Now, these are really traditional cornices. They're actually plaster. So this is where the craft and the art of plastering really comes into effect. This is something that I wouldn't allow just anyone to do. I certainly wouldn't get a handyman to do. I need the really artisan and bespoke talents, I guess you'd call it, of the Hunter Lining Projects team. And this is going to take some serious time and talent. I could sit and watch these guys all day. Oh, finally, I get to step into my zone, out of construction zone, and into the zone where I'm going to start to look at exactly how I want the look and feel of this to be. Now, I obviously had a pretty strong idea of what I wanted room 1 to look like. Hence, I was able to bring in all of the paneling from in-trim and the rails and the divine cornices. But I really need to now start to hone down exactly what I'm after. So every room that I ever create or every space has a jumping off point. And in this case, the jumping off point for me is the wallpaper. I've chosen this absolutely divine wallpaper that is a little classical, it's gentle, but it's also strong in the colours that's used inside of it. And I got it from my local Bristol store. Now that I've decided on that, I can then shape all of the colours that I'm going to be using in the space around that wallpaper. One of my top tips is that when you're using a wallpaper with a white base, it's absolutely essential that you have a sample of the wallpaper before you go choose any other whites or colours in that room, because there is nothing worse than the whites clashing with one another, not talking to one another, or one white making another white look dirty or grubby. I am completely loving my vision of these beautiful French doors from Hume. However, I'm a practical girl, and so I do need to think about things like security when those beautiful doors are open, privacy, as well as protection from the insects, the mozzies and the flies. And so I have the team from Allspec coming in, and they're measuring up today for a novel approach to securing these gorgeous French door openings. So I'm going to be using an InvisiGuard product. So these guys will measure it up today, and you keep your eye out because this is going to be taking security and screen doors to the next level. Huge, awesome week in room 1 this week. It was super, super cool. So we were able to make it weatherproof, doors locked up, some sheeting on the outside because we had the plasterers on site this week, which is super cool. We do have all the trims in place now, so the boys have loved working with the in-trim skirts, picture rails and chair rails. So, you know, I think a good week all up. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you're following me on Instagram to see my latest design and reno inspiration. You can find me at Naomi Findlay Official or click the link in my description. See you soon.